Hey, beautiful people. I am back with Foundation Fridays, and I am super excited about what we're going to be discussing today. Y'all know every single Friday, I'm twisting my hair and having a conversation with you. So as you come inside, invite a homegirl, invite a homeboy, because today we are talking about paying off that debt. Credit cards, your credit score, all of that good stuff. So while people are coming in, I'm going to be parting my hair and getting prepared for the live. Hey, Financially Winning. Hey, AP the Realtor. If this is your first Friday being on, I go live on every Friday while I'm twisting my hair, just to discuss different financial topics to help us build a solid financial foundation. And today what I'm going to be discussing is paying off that debt. So all things credit cards, credit score increases, all of that good stuff. While y'all are coming in, I want to give you a recap of last time. So last time we talked about continuing to always learn. And y'all, I'm doing something different with my hair, so please bear with me as I part. But last time we talked about the importance of always learning. So don't ever stop learning. Your learning does not stop once you graduate from high school, if you went to college, none of that stuff matters. You need to always continue to learn, all right? On the last Foundation Friday, I challenged everyone listening to create a high-yield savings account. If you're new and you don't know what a high-yield savings account is, I will recap it one time for you. So a high-yield savings account is essentially, it's a savings account, but it's different than a traditional savings account because it pays you more money than, a traditional savings account. So on your traditional savings account, your interest rate might be 0.025% or something like that. But on a high yield savings account, you will have an interest rate of at least 1%, or you should choose one where you have at least 1%. So I challenged every single person last time to go to bankrate.com, open them up a high yield savings account, and start putting your money there. You're going to save more money because it makes it really inconvenient for you to touch your money versus just having your money in a traditional savings account. You can easily make a transfer from, your regular savings to your checkings account. So if you were on last Friday and you actually opened the high yield savings account, put some fire in the chat. Tell me this is our way of holding each other accountable, because I don't want y'all to just consume my content just because it sounds good. No, actually come here expecting something and then walk away with something to actually do, something to actually apply. I always say this. People say, knowledge is power, knowledge is power. And yes, a piece of that is true, but it's not really about the knowledge if you don't do anything about it. My thing is applied knowledge is power. So every single Friday when we go live, I'm going to be sharing different things with y'all. But at the end, I'm also going to be sharing different, I would just say practical tips, different things that you can do that will actually move your finances forward. You are not just getting on here to listen at me because I'm a little cute and it sounds like I know what I'm talking about, okay? I really want you to be in a different financial space and improve your finances. Whatever that means for you, I really want it. And I believe this is even going to help me with just being accountable, holding my own self accountable. Because as the responsible homegirl, I feel like I tell y'all this every single time I get on live. Just because I'm your responsible homegirl, that does not mean I have it all together. And I will shout that from the mountaintop. Literally. I will shout it from the mountaintop. I do not have it all together. I just want better for myself. I'm always learning. I'm always doing something to put myself in a better place financially. And honestly, just like they say in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, if you have financial education, Nothing is off limits for you. You can lose every single thing that you have and still be okay. Why? Because you actually know how to manage your money. You know how money works. So now let's get into today's topic, which is credit. Credit. Something that all of us really need, something that all of us are always trying to get better at. So I really wanted to take a moment today to just talk about some of the basics with credit, talk about my own struggles, talk about different ways that we can pay off that debt. Pay off the debt, because our debt is robbing us of our future, period. So before I get started, I actually need to see what products I'm using today, because I want to switch it up a little bit. This is leave-in, so I'm not going to use that. This is shampoo. I really should have. This is conditioner. So, y'all, my sister went to Essence Festival, and she brought me back, like, all of these different products. So, I just want to try out some new stuff, because I'm honestly getting tired of my natural hair. Like, I'm thinking about cutting my hair. I really want to do something different. So, hopefully, these new products that I use can give me a different look. So, I'm not bored. Like, the fro be froing, but I really, I want a different look. So, what I'm going to use today, what I've been using for the longest is, dang, what have I been using? I don't know. I'll tell y'all later when I actually think about it. But today, I'm going to use Dove Amplified Textures Shaping Buttercream for Coils and Curls. So, all my homegirls, if you're watching this right now, this is something that you could try out. And the gel that I'm going to use is Shea Moisture, Coconut, and Hibiscus Flaxseed. So, yeah. If you're new here, welcome. Every Friday, I go live as I'm twisting my hair, and I'm talking about a financial topic that's going to help us build a solid financial foundation. Let me find a clip, and we're going to get this show on the road. While I'm doing this, can y'all drop in the comments, how has your day been going? How are you feeling right now? Are you excited that 2022 is coming to an end? Do you feel like this year went by fast? Talk to me about just this year for you. In regard to your finances, like, how has it been? I want this to be very interactive, not me just up here preaching to y'all. So, how has your finances been this year? We can start there. How has your finances been this year? How has your credit score been this year? You could tell me good, needs room for improvement, it's been okay. Let me know in the comments, how has your credit, your finances been going? So your day has been okay. I'm really tired, to be honest. 2022 has been a great year. I learned a lot, and I've been making lots of improvements. I love that. Let's go. This year definitely went by fast. Sis, tell me about it. This year went by too fast. To be honest, I had a lot going on this year, but I hope to get myself together. Listen, there is always room for improvement, because you still alive and breathing. Trust and believe. God is not done with you yet. So there is plenty of time and room for improvement. Thank y'all for sharing. Credit score has been going up, but I'm still trying to increase it some more. Okay, cool. Well, this conversation is really going to help you out today. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And I got some notes right here, because y'all know I'll ramble all day long. So to begin with, credit. Credit is all about building trust. It's no different than if I ask my mom to borrow $1,000 and I tell her that I'm going to pay her back that $1,000 2 months from now. Because I have given my mama the word that I'm going to pay her back 2 months from now, my mom is expecting me to pay her that money back 2 months from now. So just because we deal with businesses, institutions, organizations, that doesn't make it any different. Just because you went to Verizon or T-Mobile and you say, oh, I really want this iPhone 14, but unfortunately, I don't have the whole $1,200, so I'm going to finance it. Now, something comes up and then boom, all of a sudden, you stop paying your bill. You stop paying on the phone. Does that make it right? Absolutely not. So credit is all about building trust. It's all about doing what it is that you say you're going to do. If you borrow from somebody, pay them back. Period. If you borrow for somebody, pay them back. It's just as simple as that. I don't know why we have made credit such like this huge thing when it's not really that big of a deal. I'm not gonna say it's not that big of a deal, but getting your credit score to a great place is not that hard. I try to say that it's about three main things. One, having credit lines. So back in let's just say 2018, I had no credit. I had no student loans. I had no car loan. I had no credit card. I had absolutely nothing. So you have to have credit lines. Why? Because credit lines allows other people to vouch for you. You have to borrow something from somebody for somebody else to say, oh, she's responsible. Oh, you can give her money and she'll pay it back. Does that make sense? I want y'all to pump some hearts, put something in the comments, because if it doesn't make sense, I want to break it down like where a kindergartner can understand it. Does that make sense? The first thing, you have to have credit lines. And you have to have multiple credit lines. Having multiple credit lines is going to show you, or basically show somebody that you are who you say you are. You do what it is that you say you're going to do. So you have revolving and you have installment credit. Revolving and installment. So revolving would be like your credit card. So say for instance, you have, let's just say, a credit card with a $5,000 limit on it. That money is always revolving. So no matter what, let's just say you spend $200, you pay it off. You still got that same $5,000. You got $5,000, you spend $1,000. Now you got $4,000. Like, the money is always there. So it's revolving. It's a revolving type of credit. Now, installment credit is like a car or a house. So I bought something for this price, and now I have the entire thing broken down into installments. So my car payment every single month is $280. So I pay $280 until I pay this car off. Now, the reason why I bring up revolving and installment credit is because it's good to have a mix of both. It's good to have a mix of both. So if you're listening right now, and say for instance, you have a car payment, you got installment credit, that's great, but you don't have any revolving credit, I would highly recommend getting a credit card, whether it's secured or unsecured. Secured basically means like you put up your own money. So you would go to the bank, you would give them $200, and then they will give you a $200 credit limit. And then as you spend the money, pay it back, spend the money, pay it back. They're going to report that to the credit bureau. That's a secured. So you are basically putting up your own money for the credit limit. Versus an unsecured. Unsecured is you're not putting up any money. Somebody is just taking a chance on you. Somebody is saying, okay, she got this installment credit line already. She makes her payments on time. She don't have one late payment. She's super responsible. Okay, we're going to give her this unsecured credit card for $1,500. Make sense? So make sure you kind of have a mix of both between your revolving and your installment. The next thing that I want to talk about is why credit is so important. Credit is so important because it's just leverage. It's just leverage. Leverage is a fancy word of saying you got access. You got access to money that you probably would not have had, or probably that you don't have. So that's why people can go out and purchase a car that, let's just say, costs $30,000 and not have $30,000 in their bank account. But the great thing about having good credit is you get to borrow money at a cheaper rate. What do you mean, Kiani? Your interest rate determines how much it's going to cost you to borrow money. I'm going to say that one more time. Your interest rate determines how much money is going to cost you to borrow. So the difference between somebody, let's just say they have a 3% interest rate on their car versus somebody who has a 10% interest rate on their car. It's going to cost the person with a 10% interest rate way more money to buy the car, pay off the car just for borrowing the money. So that's why having good credit is great, because you can borrow money and you can borrow it for a cheaper rate. You don't have to go in and literally pay double or just way more than what something actually costs just because you don't have a good credit score. That's why credit is important. So it's not necessarily about, oh, I got cash, I don't need credit, blah, blah, blah. When it comes to time where you actually need to borrow some money, let's just say a car or a house, an investment property, anything, your credit score is going to be leverage for you. And it's going to allow you, like I said earlier, to borrow money at a cheaper rate. If you got a high credit score, you're going to get a low interest rate. If you have a low credit score, you're going to get a higher interest rate. Why? Because this institution, this organization, they're taking a bigger risk on you. They're taking a bigger risk on the person who has a low credit score because they don't know if you're going to pay them back or not. Because your credit score is essentially a reflection of how well you pay your bills. Do you pay your bills on time? How well do you manage your credit and what it is that they're offering you? Now, I know every situation is unique. Sometimes some people, they start out of the gate with poor credit because of parents making ill decisions and putting stuff in their name and just all sorts of stuff. So in different situations like that, I understand where somebody is starting off like in the low, but it's still your responsibility to raise that up. You can dispute things. You can work with somebody who's a credit repair specialist. Like, there are things that you can do. You don't have to just stay at square one, especially if it wasn't your fault. You can do research. You can do all of this type of stuff to really set yourself up to be in a different place when it comes to your credit. The next thing, the reason why I really wanted to do this live today and just talk about credit as far as like building a strong financial foundation is because the first thing that I said earlier, when you have a higher credit score, you get to borrow money at a cheaper rate. But the second thing is I have this deep desire to live a debt-free life. A debt-free life. Now, granted, things come up and you may have to swipe your credit card if you haven't been saving consistently, or maybe you're starting a business and you don't have business funding, so you had to leverage your personal credit. Like, there are so many different situations. But what I've come to realize is when you do have debt, you are always having to work to pay somebody else. Period. I sit down and I pay my car payment with gratitude. Of course, I'm very grateful and happy that I have the $280 to pay my car payment. But I think about every single month, what if I did not have this car payment? What could I do with an extra $280 a month? I look at debt as this thing of over your head. Especially if it's like debt that you don't necessarily need. Another one, credit card debt. I have credit card debt that I am actively paying off. And we're going to get into tips on how to pay your credit card debt off if you have credit card debt and ways that I can support you through that process too. But it's just always going to be something up over your head. And every time I make some extra money or I do something or just any parts of my income, I don't want to have to take my income and then pay extra towards this. Take my income, pay this bill. Like, I want to have as least amount of bills as possible and do whatever I want to do with the rest of my money. Whatever I want to do to be in a different place for my financial future. So I really want y'all to think about that when it comes to being in debt. I'm going to say that one more time. Debt low-key robs you of your future. Why? Because you are always paying somebody. And I believe if you save, if you invest, if you have different streams of income, you can most definitely live a debt-free life. Point blank period. You can live a debt-free life. So if anybody on here is listening and you're like me and you have some credit card debt, I know I always preach. If you use your credit card, pay off the balance in full every single month. I always preach that. I'm the queen of saying that. However, in some situations, especially if you already have credit card debt, maybe you can't pay off the balance in full every single month. But what you can do is pay more than that minimum balance. Has anybody ever noticed on your credit card statements that after you pay off your minimum balance, yes, the balance may go down, but now you get a new charge for the interest that you accrued. Dang, how do you say that word? Accrued. I don't know how to say that word. But the interest that you got for having a balance. Has anybody ever saw that? If you have not saw that, I want you to go look once you get off this live. Please tell me in the comments. Has anybody ever saw that? You paid a minimum balance, but you still have another charge for leaving a credit card balance on your credit card. Tell me in the comments, yes, no, you don't know what I'm talking about. Yes, and I'd be so annoyed, girl. Same. Yes, exactly. So annoyed. You know why? Because you have a balance and they're charging you interest. They are charging you to borrow the money. And I hate it. And the last time I looked at my credit card balance and I saw that, I'm like, I'm getting out this credit card debt ASAP. Because you're not about to charge me more money for borrowing money. Granted, I'm appreciative of having the access, having the leverage. But no, we're going to play the game. We're not going to let the game play us. We are going to play the game, not let the game play us. Let me tell y'all how y'all already know how credit card companies make their money. They make their money off of interest. So they are banking off of the fact that they give you access to this money. You get super excited. You spend money. And I'm talking to myself as well as I am teaching y'all. But this light bulb just clicked in my head. So I'm like, okay, I got to share this with other people so that one, they know I don't have it all together. And then two, prioritize the importance of paying this off ASAP. So now let me go back to how credit card companies make their money. They are banking off you not paying off your balance in full. They are banking off you getting so excited, you buying stuff, you going on trips, you living your best life off of the money that they give you access to. And then you get comfortable with paying the minimum balance. So then you look around and then a year passed by, 2 years passed by, 3 years passed by, and now you got $30,000 worth of credit card debt. And you may not have that much credit card debt, but I have spoke with people. Y'all, I used to teach financial literacy classes at this middle school in Florence, South Carolina. And this teacher told me, she was like, I paid off $30,000 worth of credit card debt. And in my head, I'm just like, sis, how you even get there? But now, actually being in personal finance, actually having credit card debt, I see how she got there. Because you just spend. And you get comfortable with paying the minimum balance. So I just want to encourage y'all. That's why I named the title of the live. Pay off that debt. Yes, I know you do not want to put no extra $200 towards the debt. Put an extra $300 towards the debt. But I promise you, the quicker you pay it off, the better off you will be. You will end up saving more money. Period. So Miss Jazzy said, credit consolidation, is that something good to do? I'm not opposed to credit consolidation, but it has to make sense. So some credit card companies, they'll like offer you, let's just say, it's called like a balance transfer. So say for instance, you have $1,000 worth of credit card debt, and they'll be like, okay, you can transfer this balance, and for the entire first 12 months, you're not going to have no interest. So a 0% interest on anything that you spend. Now, I think that that is very smart to do. Why? Because you're basically not going to be racking up more debt. If you keep your debt at the same credit card company, every single month that you leave a balance, your credit card balance is going to go up because they're going to charge you interest. Do I need to say that again? Matter of fact, I'm just saying it again just for clarity. If you leave a balance on your current credit card statement, you are always going to get charged interest because the balance is not at zero. Versus, let's just say you do a balance transfer and they offer you no interest for the first 12 months. I think that is great because now you have 12 months with no interest and you can knock out that credit. You can knock it out. So in that case, I do think that is smart to do. That's crazy. Girl, yes, so crazy. It's really crazy. But that's how they make their money. Credit card companies, they don't make no money by you using their money and paying off the balance in full because they're not charging you anything. They're not charging you a thing. Nothing. So because of what I just shared, I am going to create a Facebook community. It's going to be completely free, but it's just going to be a community where we basically hold each other accountable and actually pay down our debt together. And inside of that group, I'm going to share my real numbers. So how much credit card debt I got, how much car debt I got, because I'm still paying off my car. Those are my main two debts. If you have any other debts, like let's just say you got medical bills, you got phones, you got, and yeah, I got my phone too. Anything outstanding, student loans, anything. I want us to talk about it all there because I don't want you to be ashamed of your debt. I don't want you to be embarrassed about it. What I want you to do is pay it off. I want you to pay it off so you can get to a place where you got as little bills as possible. You have as little bills as possible, and every time you get some extra money coming in, it don't have to go towards your debt. And the reason why I keep saying that is because that's how I'm quickly paying off my debt. Like every extra dollar that I get in is going to my debt. Every single thing. I'm not just paying the minimum balance. I'm adding another $200 up there every single time. Because the quicker I pay it off, the more I can actually do with my money. If you sit around and fool up with these credit card companies and pay the minimum balance, you're going to be in credit card debt forever. And I'm not even playing. You're going to be in credit card debt forever. You're going to continue paying that minimum balance and wondering to yourself why it's not going down. So if you're interested in being a part of that Facebook community, just send me a DM after I end the live and just say I want to be in the Facebook group. And send me your Facebook name and I'll add you. I haven't created the Facebook group yet, but I am doing it today. Another thing, if you are let's just say shy or reserved, you don't really want to share your business, I'm going to just go ahead and say this Facebook group is not going to be for you because I just believe why people are telling their truth, when people are basically just embracing their process, it helps other people out. So you can't be secretive and just be on the sidelines just watching everybody tell their business. So if you're not really open to doing that, I love you, but it's not going to be the best place for you. Is that the same for car payments? Like I pay my car payment in splits. When you say you pay your car payment in splits, do you mean like you pay it like every 2 weeks instead of every month? Is that what you mean? I just want to know before I put in my 2 cents. As far as car payment, I would do the exact same thing. And if you could actually refinance your car, I think that that's a great option. Right now, everybody listening on the live, do y'all know the interest rate on your car loan? Just drop yes or no in the chat. And this is a judgment-free zone. Do you know your car loan interest rate? Put yes or no in the comments. Yes, my car payment is kind of big, so I split the payment up in a month. Yeah, I don't think it's no problem with that. I actually know a lot of people who do split their car payment up. And even if you can, like, let's just say put like an extra $25 to it or extra $30 onto that car debt, I think that would be super duper great. So just keep that in the back of your mind. So no, yes, and it's freaking high. Okay. Anybody else? Thank y'all so much for sharing and being transparent about knowing or not knowing your car interest rate. Anybody else want to add to the conversation? Do you know the interest rate on your car loan? Let me know in the comments. I don't. Okay, cool. Thank you, sis. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else? While y'all are still putting y'all answers in the comments, the reason why I asked that question is because when you don't know better, or when you don't know, you can't do nothing better. When you don't know, you can't do nothing better. So today's challenge, and I have a lot of challenges today because I am very serious about this whole debt thing, is to find out your car loan. Paid mine off this year. Let's go, sis. I know that's right. I cannot wait to pay mine off. I want you to find out the interest rate on your car loan. The way you can do that is if your car loan has an app, you can go to the app and look at like your account details, and you should be able to find your interest rate there. Or you can call them and just ask them what your interest rate is. What else can you do? You can look on a bill. Your bill may have your interest rate on there. So those are 3 different ways where you can find out your car loan interest rate. You need to figure it out ASAP. If your car interest rate, I would say, is 10% or more, not even that, I'm going to just say even maybe 7%. No, I'm going to be a little modest. If it's 8% or more, I would definitely recommend refinancing your car loan. And refinancing, that's just a fancy way of saying you're going to find another bank to actually borrow money from for a cheaper rate. So when you have a high interest rate, like I said before, you are paying more money to borrow the money. But let's just say, for instance, you bank with a credit union. Credit unions are really good for loans because they typically have lower interest rate. Like, for instance, my older sister, she has her car loan with Navy Federal. And I want to say her car loan interest rate is maybe, she just paid her car off. But when she did have a car loan, I want to say it was probably like 3%. Now, that is super duper low. So if we can refinance our car loans and get it down some, that will also save you more money, and that will help you pay off your debt faster. So 2 things that I want you to do. 1, find out your interest rate. Find out the interest rate on your car loan. If your car loan interest rate is high and your credit score is pretty decent, is pretty good, you've been building your credit for a while, I would highly recommend to get it refinanced ASAP. Because it's going to cost you way more money in the end to actually keep your current interest rate. If you have a very high interest rate, it's going to cost you way more money. You're going to end up paying more for your car just simply off of interest. So that's the first thing. Find out your car loan interest rate. You can find it out through the app. You can call whoever owns your car loan and find out what it is. If you have a super high interest rate, I would definitely recommend refinancing it as soon as possible. The second thing, so there are 2 ways that you can really pay off your debt. The first one is the debt Snowball method. The second one is the debt Avalanche. So I'm doing the debt Avalanche method, which basically entails you listing out all of your debts, and then you're paying off the debt with the highest interest rate. Now, I'm a fan of that one over the Snowball. Matter of fact, before I tell you why, let me tell you the Snowball. The Snowball method is you listing out all of your debts, and then you are paying off, you're focusing on one debt at a time, and you're paying off the smallest debts just so you can, like, get some wins, get excited, keep going. But you're tackling the smallest debt first. Now, I'm a fan of debt Avalanche because you're tackling the debts with the highest interest rate. Because I don't want to eventually be charged more money just for borrowing money. But like I said, personal finances are personal. So just because something works for me, that don't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. I just want to do my job at exposing you to the different options that you have, but at the same time, do what works best for your situation. Maybe you just want to go ahead and get some stuff out of the way, something that's kind of hanging over your head, then sure, do the debt snowball. But if you have credit card debt and your interest rate is, let's just say, 24% like mine is, no, go ahead and pay that thing off ASAP. Because every single time you leave a balance on that credit card, you're going to get charged more money. So it's just like you're paying off the balance, but then they smacking you with another cost. Paying off the balance, they're smacking with another cost. That's interest. And we can't even be mad because credit card companies are in business. They are in business. But I'm going to just repeat what I said earlier. We have to learn how to play the game. Don't let the game play us. Play the game. Do not let the game play us. So I talked about credit, building trust, living this debt-free life, putting extra towards your debt. Don't just be comfortable in paying the minimum balance. Why it's so important. The community on Facebook. I know some people just joined. I'm going to recap that one more time. If you have credit card debt or any sorts of debt and that you want to be more intentional and put an emphasis on paying it off ASAP, please DM me. I want to join the Facebook group. Send me your Facebook name. I'm going to create the Facebook group today, put you in it, and we're just going to be very transparent about the debts that we have, how we're paying it down, keep each other encouraged, all of that good stuff. Inside of the group, I'm going to be sharing my real raw numbers. So how much credit card debt I got, how much car loan debt I got, how I'm paying it off, every time I make an extra payment, all of that good stuff. So if you feel like that is something that's going to help you actually move forward and pay that debt off, join the group. It's totally free, but be prepared to share, be prepared to give encouragement, all of that good stuff. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about before we go into Q&A is, or matter of fact, do we have any questions before I talk about my last point? Do you have any questions? This conversation was actually really good. Y'all had some great questions earlier about credit and consolidation and all that good stuff. Does anybody have any questions? Did anybody learn something new? Let me know. Y'all, I really hope this twist out turn out nice. These products that I'm using is a little thin for my hair. So we're going to see. Does anybody have any questions before I talk about my last point? Definitely learned something. That's great. Thank you for joining, sis. I'm going to be going live every single Friday just to help. Forever grateful for you and your knowledge. Aw, thank you. I learned a lot. Yes, love to see it. Love to see it. And this is what it's all about. This was helpful. I'm starting to clear out debt. Yes, ma'am. Me too. Little by little. And don't get overwhelmed about it, y'all. Don't be in your feelings about it. It's okay. I was just on the phone with one of my really good friends, and he was talking to me about like some work stuff, and he was like, it's never too late to, dang, what he said, I know I'm about to mess it up. He was like, it's never too late to make tomorrow day one. Or it's never too late to have a day one. Dang, I'm messing it up. I'm so mad. I'm going to find out what it is, and I'm going to let y'all know. I'm going to put it in the Facebook group. But it was so good, and it was basically saying, like, it's never too late to start or over. Like, you could always make today or tomorrow or whatever you want to be day one. So as you are looking at your debt, don't get discouraged. Don't get in your feelings. It does not matter. It don't matter. It's never too late to start budgeting. It's never too late to start saving. It's never too late to start being just more intentional about your money. And I promise you, y'all, it's going to feel so good when you don't have that credit card debt hanging over your head, when you don't have that car debt hanging over your head, when you don't have those medical bills, those student loans hanging over your head. Now, I know some of y'all on this like, I am not paying off them student loans. Thank you, Joe, for that 20 grand. But I'm not paying those student loans. I don't have that struggle, thank God. But if you have a desire to pay off your student loans, it's going to feel good, really good, when you don't have that over your head. And I'll just give the example that I gave earlier. Every single month, I just think about what I could be doing with my $280 that I send to my car payment people. The goal is to live a debt-free life and have as little bills as possible. So that way, when you get money flowing in regularly, put it towards other stuff. Investing in yourself. Starting a business if you want that. Investing in the stock market, your retirement. Going places. Traveling for real. Some of us, we can't even live our best lives because we got so many bills. And we got bills that come from borrowing money. So I just want y'all to keep that at the forefront of your mind and really prioritize paying off your debt. So last but not least, because nobody put any questions in the chat or anything. So I released a new podcast episode yesterday called It Doesn't Happen Overnight. And it was a part of my Think Like a Mogul series where I interview entrepreneurs who are either from South Carolina or live in South Carolina. Can y'all hear me fine? I don't know what just happened on my end. Please pump some hearts. Put something in the comment box if you can hear me. I don't want to keep going if y'all can't hear me. Yes, no. It started breaking up. Can you hear me now, though? Am I good now? I can hear now? Okay, perfect. So I'm just go back. So I interviewed Marcus Hammond. He is the creator of the Black Food Truck Festival, right? And the interview was probably like an hour long, but it's so good. I promise you, like from the start to the end. The name of the interview is It Don't Happen Overnight. And throughout us talking, it really just made me just think about my entire process and to really be grateful for the process and embrace it. Don't just be at a place in your life where you like, dang, I wish everything was different. Like, I don't want to live here. I don't want to be here right now. Like, I really wish things were different in my life for real, because it's so easy for us to get discouraged. But it's all a part of the process. And when you just take a step back and realize that every single thing in your life is necessary, I promise you it will shift your whole perspective. So Marcus started off with just telling me just about his whole life story, because the way I interview people, I don't like to just know like what you got going on right now. I like to know how you got there. So tell me about how you grew up, where you came from, your mindset for real. Because you may not be interested in starting a food truck festival or even planning events or doing stuff like that. But what my listener can learn is how you think, your mindset, books that you read, how you kind of navigate through life. And my listener, they can adopt those things and apply it to their own lives. So as I'm interviewing people, I'm always thinking about the person who's going to be listening to the podcast. So I asked him, I was like, what was your inspiration behind the Black Food Truck Festival? So he started telling me about like how he always just like loved throwing events. He had been throwing events in Charleston since 2010. Mind you, it's 2022. His first Black Food Truck Festival was last year. So somebody looking from the outside will probably be like, dang, this happened so quick for him. But this man literally told me on the podcast he had been throwing events in Charleston since 2010. So this is not 1 year of work. This is 12 years of practicing, making mistakes, having success, failing. He talked about all that in the podcast episode. But then he goes to say, he went to this food truck festival. And he was like, it was a dope festival. It was nice. However, I was a little bored. It wasn't a vibe. It wasn't a whole lot of black food trucks there, whatever. So he was like, instead of me complaining about, oh, it's nothing to do in Charleston for the black folks, he was like, I'm just going to create it. So that's the first thing that I want you to get from that. Even if you don't listen to the podcast episode, don't just complain about stuff. Create. If there is something going on that you don't necessarily like, that you're not a fan of, instead of complaining about it, ask yourself, what can I do about it? How can I add value to this equation? How can I make this different? So that really stood out to me when Marcus said that. I stopped complaining and I created what it is that I wanted to see. He stopped complaining about the festivals in Charleston. just being like, it felt like it was only for white people, even though it wasn't. It didn't have our, like, you know how black people, we got our little spice on stuff. It just didn't have that. And instead of him complaining, he created one. And it was successful. Now, the next thing that I want to pay attention to is he continued to share the story. And he was like, he had the idea, or he had this whole encounter in 2018, right? But he didn't have no coin. And I feel like a lot of us can relate to that. Like, it may be a lot of things that we want to do, but we just don't necessarily have the money outright to invest or to do it. But that shouldn't stop you from doing it. So that was in 2018. Now, fast forward to 2021. The pandemic is going on. People still don't know, like, what's actually happening for real with COVID. And Marcus is working at a bank. And the bank that he's working for merges with another bank. And he gets fired. So he was like, his boss called him in, told him that they was laying him off, blah, blah, blah. And as the conversation went on, she passed him a severance check. So that's just a check, like a farewell check. Goodbye. And he was like, immediately when he saw the check, he was like, ooh, Black Food Truck Festival. So I was like, oh my gosh. 3 years later, 2018 to 2021. 3 years. He started having events in 2010. So 12 years. So that just stood out to me so much because it's like, do not be discouraged of where you are. Do not discount your process. Embrace every single part of the journey. And if God puts something on your heart, trust and believe. It's going to happen. It's just in due time. Take your time, be patient, and just go and listen to the podcast episode because I promise you, it is going to bless your whole life. So 2021 comes, he gets fired, he gets the severance check, he launches Black Food Truck Festival. In November, it goes great. He hosted at like this little, I can't even remember where he said it was. But he hosted someplace. It was a ton of people there. Now, in April, he hosted it again at the fairgrounds. Y'all, the fairgrounds. Like where the South Carolina State Fair is held in Charleston, the fairgrounds. We are not going to play like that's something small because it's not. But oftentimes when a black person is doing something, we like judge it so critically. We don't really give people their flowers. I'm just being real about it. So I just want us to think about that. Not even a whole full year. He did another festival in April at the fairgrounds and had over 15,000 people in Charleston, South Carolina in 1 weekend. 1 weekend, 15,000 people. So when I tell you there is so much that you can learn from this podcast episode, even if you're not a business owner, just a whole lot of stuff that can help you mentally, that can help you just in your life, period. So that's what I wanted to share with y'all. Make sure y'all go listen to it. It's episode 56 and it's called It Doesn't Happen Overnight, Creating the Black Food Truck Festival. And you can watch it on YouTube. You can listen to it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And after you listen to it, like, just let me know your thoughts. Comment your thoughts. You can email me your thoughts, whatever it is. But like I said, every single time I interview somebody, I'm always thinking about the people that's going to listen to it. Like, what can you learn from this? Because I could care less about you having $1 million business if you're not going to teach other people how you got there. Everything that we do in life is not for ourselves. Like, we benefit off of it, but it's not about me. It's not about you. Me having the Responsible Homegirl, I benefit from it, but it's not about me. That's why I can't just do stuff when I feel like it. Create content when I feel like it. Go live when I feel like it. The discipline got to kick in because it's not about me. And I didn't just arrive here, y'all. Like, we just celebrated 2 years of having the Responsible Homegirl. The first year that I started, I was so entitled. I thought people was just going to flock to my business because I was cute and I knew what I was talking about. But that's not how it works. You have to be consistent. but I wasn't always consistent. That's why I can get on here now and talk about being consistent and being disciplined. And no, I don't get it right all the time. No, I'm not perfect. But I'm telling you, if you get that through your head, that this is not about you, humble yourself and show up for real, things will be different. And that's in every part of your life. Not just your business, not just your finances, every single part of your life. Be consistent. Be disciplined. God will always, always, always bless your faithfulness. Always. So, y'all, that's all I got for today's Foundation Friday. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Come back and see me again next Friday at 3 p.m. I'm not sure what topic I'm going to discuss yet, because every single week in, week out, I just ask God, like, Lord, what do you want me to tell your children? What is it that you want me to talk about in regards to personal finances? So it's not like I have a whole schedule or anything planned out, but just know it will be something different. And next week, invite a homegirl, invite a homeboy, invite somebody who you believe can benefit, because we just going to be chopping it up like this. And I'm always going to be real with y'all. If I went over my budget, if I didn't put extra money towards my debt, whatever it is, because it's not about saving face. It's not about looking like you got it all together when you don't. It's not about trying to look rich and not be rich. No, we're not doing that. And if I can equip this next generation of young adults with the mindset, we already winning. We already winning. And the last thing that I just want to just echo another thing, and I don't know why this is on my heart, but just discouragement. Like, do not be discouraged with where you are right now. I really want you to get that through your brain, get it in your heart. Do not be discouraged with where you are right now. I don't care if your account in the negative. I don't care if you got so much credit card debt over your head. I don't care if a bill coming up and you don't know how to pay it. Do not be discouraged with where you are right now. Take baby steps. Sacrifice. Budget your money. Watch my content on YouTube. Listen to a podcast episode. Take some time to figure out, dang, what could I be doing different with my money? What could I be doing different? But do not be discouraged, because the enemy wants you to be discouraged. The enemy wants you to feel like your current situation is going to be forever. And that's a lie. That's a lie. Your current situation is not going to be forever. It's just all a part of your process. It's all a part of your journey. And by you even being on this live right now, it shows me that you want to be in a different place. And you just got to take little steps. Little steps. Y'all, I can remember in 2019, November of 2019, December 1st was right around the corner, and I had no idea how I was going to pay my rent. And I was so embarrassed to call my mama and ask her for my rent money. I was so embarrassed. So embarrassed to the point where I didn't call her, knowing I could have gotten evicted. Thank God I didn't get evicted. But I share that to say, shame and embarrassment will have you just feeling so alone, feeling so discouraged, feeling like you're going to be here forever. And that's just not true. So I don't know why that was so heavy on my spirit, but don't be discouraged with where you are right now. I promise you, this is not your forever. This is temporary. She said I needed that. Oh, I'm so happy that it spoke to you, sis. So happy that it spoke to you. Thank y'all so much for joining this Foundation Friday. The replay will be up on YouTube just in case you want to rewatch it, because it's so much easier watching it on YouTube than trying to watch it on Instagram. If you have a friend who wasn't on, but you know that he or she can benefit from it, send them the YouTube link. I'm going to upload it. And last but not least, if you have debt and you want to be intentional about paying off that debt, send me a DM as soon as I end the live and say, I want to be in the Facebook community, and send me your Facebook name. I'm going to add you as a friend, and I'm going to put you in the group. I'm going to add you as a friend, and I'm going to put you in the group. And we're going to be open. We're going to work together. We're going to do this together. We're going to knock it out together, because I am super duper serious about this. So don't forget, go ahead and do that ASAP. watch episode 56 on the Responsible Homegirl podcast. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube, y'all please subscribe to it. I have a goal to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. So please help me. And it's really going to help you as well because I upload every single week and I'm always sharing financial education. And I'm not just talking about stuff that I Googled. I'm sharing my real life stuff. I know how to budget now because there was a point where I did not budget. I know how to build credit because there was a point where I did not have credit. I know how to pay off debt because I'm actively paying off debt. I know how to open up a Roth IRA and then start investing for retirement because those are things that I have done. I know how to wholesale mobile homes because I have wholesale mobile homes and closed plenty of deals. I know how to start a business because I've started a business. So I just want you to know that every single thing that I am sharing with you is not for fluff, it's not for likes, it's not for clout. It's things that I believe that you could really benefit from. So check out my YouTube channel. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed. And tell a friend to tell a friend. Okay? Thank y'all. See y'all. If you want to join the Facebook group, join the Facebook group. And I'll see you next Friday at 3 p.m. See y'all later. And thank you so much for joining.